Hey, it's me, your boy Blue Gets again, and today I'll be going over my ban list prediction slash wish list for the next list, assuming we actually get one. Thanks, Evil Swarm Virus. Anyways, we won't we probably won't be receiving an actual list. It'll probably be just like the last list, just full of unlimits. But I'm hoping that isn't the case, and I'm hoping by the time November, this whole outbreak finally dies over. Anyways, for banned cards, we have Needle Fiber or a Halka Fibrax. This card just needs to be banned. No one wants it in the game. It's unhealthy. It's basically Summon Sorceress 2.0. No one likes it. And it makes no sense to have to ban and destroy a whole bunch of other cards just so we can actually keep this thing around. It should just be banned, right? Especially people are already sick and tired of this card. I already know I am. I'm tired of coming across Vibrax combos. Hell, that's most likely the reason why I don't try to record duels as much, because that's what I come across a lot. But this isn't about me. My point is, Vibrax is not fun. It's not good for the game, and a lot of people would prefer this card just be banned, basically. Because, especially considering that we're going to be getting cards like Dragoon, so we don't really need Vibrax in the game at all. Then there's Union Carrier for pretty much the same reasons or similar reasons. This card is just really unhealthy for the game. It's toxic. We do not need infinite negates. We do not need people getting, you know, locking people out of their extra deck. And of course, there's a lot of fireworks going off behind me. I guess that's what I get for trying to record on this day, but whatever. Next, we have King of Calamities, because King of Calamities is oh, that's annoying. Anyways, this is basically like a floodgate in the sense its effect lingers. So they can just activate it at the start of your turn and you won't be able to do much of anything, and they can just stop you from doing anything. And that's not fun, and that's not great at all. So you might as well ban King Calamities. At least that way you won't be able to. At least that way your opponent won't be able to just go into King Calamities and just basically shut off your turn. And then there's Block Dragon. It's pretty self-explanatory. It just gets you a ton of pluses. And even without this card, Adamantipator's can still be meta. Plus, Adamantipator's are due to get more support because of the artwork behind this card. Because clearly there's going to be a Dark Crystal, and of course we're going to get possibly another Adamantipator crystal as well as a Synchro, and potentially a villain that happens to be a tuner. My point is, Konami might as well just get rid of Block Dragon or limit it. And even if you limit it, you can still search it with Gallant. But yeah, you could either limit or ban Block Dragon. Secret of the Spellcaster, it's. I've explained it in almost all of my ban list predictions. This card is unhealthy, especially with Guys having 3 multi-faker again. This card is just really unhealthy for the game, and I think it should have disappeared a long time ago. And same with Mystic Mind. It is pretty self-explanatory why this card deserves to die. Next, for limited cards, we have Solemn Judgment. I mentioned this in my last list. It's a very unpopular opinion, but Solemn Judgment does not belong at 3. At 2, at max, it belongs at 2. It should honestly go to 1, because it's basically like a free Inferni barrier for any deck that uses back row like Guru Control, even Mystic Mind, and even Altergeist. And the argument some people use for why this shouldn't go to 1 is because the decks that use it get outpaced by the meta decks, but if you're gonna hit the meta decks, you might as well also, put a check on decks that like to use Solemn Judgment. And then next we have Alistair. I say Alistair instead of Meltdown because if you draw multiple Alistair, you can still make use of them. At least with, yeah, you can still make use of them, and you only need to resolve Meltdown once. But I feel like if you have only one Alistair, that means you have to be careful with that one copy of Alistair. Meaning you use Alistair, you basically summon Mechaba, and then you put Alistair back in your hand. You can decide whether to just discard that Alistair so you can get the boost off of its attack, or, discard Alistair for negation. At least that way your opponent would have to be more responsible with Alistair, and that would also decrease the consistency of getting Alistair to your hand, meaning that Alistair can't just be used as an engine for any and every single deck. And then lastly for limits, we have Sunlight Wolf. I put Sunlight Wolf to 1 because that's the only true way to hit Salamangreats. Because you could hit almost every other card in Salamangreats, and Salamangreats would still be great. Pun intended. The main issue with Salamangreats is not only can they OTK and do aggressive plays, but they could also just recycle their free Infinity Barriers and their free Fire Lakes, which is a problem. It doesn't cost them much of anything to just use this effect. There's no life point cost or anything. Which is why I think this card is actually deserving of going to 1, especially considering that Lady Debug is back to 3, so basically, Salamangreats are still going to be very consistent. Plus, they even have more win conditions. And then for cards that should go to 2, Super Poly. In the past, I said Super Poly is deserving of being banned or limited, and I still feel that way, but at least at 2, I think it's better at 2. Like, you shouldn't be able to see it as often as before. Next, for cards to go to 3, we have Salamangreat Circle. Because at least with one Sunlight Wolf, you can't constantly be searching cards, but at least you'd be able to use 3 Circle rather than an infinite amount of Circle because of Wolf. And then you also have Triple Spiral Resort, because Master Plan is gone, so why not? And then we have 3 Darkness Metal Dragon, because it's gone errata, so it kind of deserves to go to 3 at this point. Oh yeah, and I nearly forgot about these. We have Triple Mirage Stalio, because this card never should have been banned in my opinion. Yes, it's really powerful, and yes, it can get you to Gazelle really easily. But Mirage Stalio is actually a fair Xyz monster for the deck, in my opinion. Because not only does, it kind of locks you into the effects of fire monsters, and it actually makes you have to think about whether or not you want to actually go for the Mirage Stalio play. And like Triff once mentioned in, I think his one of his Pendulum videos after Electromite was banned, he mentioned how Konami banning Electromite kind of helped the deck. It kind of helped the deck do other things, and the deck did other things very consistently because they don't have Electromite as a safety net anymore. And that's kind of what Konami did to Salamangreats. Banning Mirage Stalio arguably made the deck even stronger. So I feel like with Mirage Stalio, if you go for this, you'd be locked into fire effects, and that's cool, and that's fine. Especially since you won't have to deal with, you don't have to worry about your opponent just reincarnating Sunlight Wolf and constantly getting free cards back, especially cards sent off of Gazelle. And then next, Triple Danglong. At first, I was a bit iffy on it, but then I realized part of the reason why it got banned is because of Calamities and Dinos abusing the deck. But it's at 3 in the OCG, so I feel like it could come back at a safe. I feel like it could come back to 3 safely. Anyways, Tell me what you guys think about the list and what you would like to see on the list. Anyways, it's me, your boy, Blue Getska, and I'm out. But before I actually end this video, I'd like to stop and say Happy 4th of July to everyone. You guys should hang out with your friends and family and obviously social distance and obviously wear a face mask. Or not. The virus isn't that bad anyways. Either way, it's me, your boy Blue Getziga, and I'm out.